Hey guys, so it's me. I'm in Oregon at the leadership conference, but I really wanted to update everybody while I had a beautiful background on the Mardi Gras missions trip. So I hope I don't cry because it was absolutely incredible. It was amazing. Like, I can't even, it's so hard to even just pick like one or two stories because every encounter was just so divine and so, it was just incredible. I was just truly reminded that behind every mask, every costume, every drink, every inappropriate act or comment, there was a heart. There was a heart, a human heart. And mostly everybody I encountered I just felt it's in my spirit. It was like they were so broken and they were just looking for answers, looking for love, and looking for attention and approval. But right in the middle of Bourbon Street, the Holy Spirit interrupted the noise, interrupted the chaos, and he brought peace and stillness and emotion and tenderness. So I'm going to just be really honest with y'all. The first day, I was like super disappointed because I got all these prophetic words before I went spoken over me. And they were saying like, I just see you flowing in like supernatural healings and healings of the heart. Like just prophetic words are just going to flow out of you. And like, there were just going to be all these crazy, amazing miracles. So after the first day of like, I had some like good conversations and I got to pray with people, but I didn't feel anything. There was no like dramatic change. There wasn't like anything huge. So in my flesh, I'm like, all right, I suck. What is it? Like, Lord, what am I doing wrong? What am I not doing? Like, where am I failing? All the stupid thoughts. So the second day, I was like opening up to my team a little bit, and a couple people on my team were like, Ashley, like, you got this. The Holy Spirit is just going to flow through you. It's not about you. It's about Jesus, And one girl prayed for me and she said, I just see fire coming out of your fingertips when you pray for people. And I was like, you know what? You're right. This is not about me. This is about God. These are God's children. He loves them more than I do. So I'm just going to give God my yes, and I'm just going to be obedient. So if he tells me to go talk to somebody, I'm just going to go do it. Who cares? Like, I'm what the ending is like. Like, I'm going to plant a seed, even if I don't see it come to fruition or get a harvest. Like, I'm going to plant a seed because that is just as important. So one of the first encounters I had that was like just super meaningful to me. We were sitting on this corner, and there was this man and I think a woman sitting on the corner, and they were watching this person sing in the street. And you can look at people and tell who is from the LGBTQ community most of the time. And so, or whatever the alphabets are now, the letters. But I went and I was just like, God, I want to talk to them. Like, I just felt drawn to these two. So I was like, Lord, give me something to say. So I start to walk over there, and the Lord told me that the guy can sing. And he was this just precious black man. And so I went up to him and I was like, hey, why aren't you out there singing with her? And he was like, me? And I was like, yeah, you. Something in me is just saying that you can sing. Because I really felt the Lord was telling me he could sing. And the lady, I think, next to him was like, yes, he can sing, girl. He can sing, blah, blah, blah. He just thinks he can't. So anyways, that was just like my in. So I just started like talking to him, having a conversation with him, and the black man introduced his name to me as Molly. And then there was a girl next to them. She said that her pronouns were they, them, and her name was Cinder. And I keep saying her because I'm honestly not sure how to word that. So anyways, they were super nice to me, and we just had a good conversation. And then all of a sudden another lady comes up, and she's got like a shaved like pink hair and pink makeup, and she just gets in on the conversation. Well, before I leave, long story short, they had walkers, but I didn't know that they had walkers because they weren't there. And they were telling me that one of them had neuropathy and the other one had some sort of disease that they've had their whole life, and they couldn't walk for very long. And I could see scars all over her legs, and they were saying that they were in a lot of pain. So I was just like, all right, that's it. Like, I'm going to pray for them and they're going to get healed. So I like start to, I was like, hey, but before I leave, is there any way that I can just pray for you? Because I really feel like God's saying like, you guys are his babies and I could not live with myself. And then I started to get emotional and I started to cry. And I was like, I can't live with myself if I don't pray for y'all, because I said, I have seen God heal so many impossible things, incurable things. And I know that he does not want his babies to live in pain. So is it okay if I just pray for you guys? Things were kind of like awkward for a second, but then the guy like almost got a little emotional and he was like, yeah, you can pray. I'll let you pray. So I prayed over him and her, and nothing happened. Like that, they said that they were still in the same amount of pain. And I was like, So I was like, can I pray again? So they let me pray again. I prayed 3 times and nothing changed. And that was really hard for me, because I just knew that that there was going to be the supernatural healing and they were just going to come to Jesus and it was going to be amazing. But the pain stayed the same. And I just said, I'm believing that by the end of this weekend, you're going to be healed, because I know that when I prayed, you're healed. You're healed. But I know that you're going to see it manifest by the end of this weekend, and you're not going to need those walkers anymore, and you're not going to be in pain anymore. And I was just crying, and he like started getting emotional, and he asked if he could hug me. So he hugged me, and then she hugged me, and then the lady I was apologizing because I was like, I'm sorry, I don't know why I'm getting emotional. And then the lady next to me, she grabbed my face and she said, sweetheart, don't you ever apologize for being compassionate and for crying. Because she said, if you were some religious a-hole, you would have walked right by us and not spoke to us. And we also wouldn't have let you speak to us if you were a religious a-hole. But she said, but because of your compassion and because of your heart, that's why this encounter happened. So it was like so cool, and it makes me emotional, because it's like, she even said that they're not religious and all this stuff, but it's like, and I'm not religious either. I'm a Christ follower is how I identify myself. But like, she ministered to me as I was trying to minister to them, like she even ministered to me. And it was just like such a cool moment. And I believe wholeheartedly that there were seeds planted in their hearts. And I know that that they're healed and that they're gonna feel God's love through that. I'm firmly believing that. But then there were just so many other moments. Like, y'all seen the man on the motorcycle. He had been shot 6 times. He was in like a gang, some drug involvement, like some crazy stuff. And he literally let me pray with him, and he cried, and he was like, are you an angel? I was like, yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm an angel. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't say that. But I was like, no, but God highlighted you to me because he wanted me to come love on you and pray for you. And then there were so many instances where there would just be people walking down the street, and we would talk to them, and then I would just get a word for them. And it was like, as soon as I would speak prophetically, like what I felt like God was telling me to tell them, it was like they would lock eyes with me. And it was like our spirit was looking at each other. And like everything I was saying was just going straight to their heart, to their soul. And these grown men would just bawl and just cry, and they would just weep. And then they would just lay their head on my shoulder and just cry, like God just spoke to their heart in the middle of the chaos, in the middle of the craziness, in the middle of the nudity and the drunkenness. Like, these people heard God. And man, there's so many other stories I could tell. There was one instance where this sweet old lady and man were walking in front of me, and she looked down and she seen that her shoe was untied. So she starts to she had to have been close to 70. She starts to hand her stuff to her husband and was going to tie her shoe. And I just truly felt like the Lord was like, no, tie her shoe. So I bent down, I tied her shoe, and I was like, no, let me do it. So I was tying her shoe, and then I got up and I really just felt this emotion come over me, and I started crying again. I cried literally every time. And I was like, hey, I was like, I really feel like the Lord just wants me to thank you for being such a good grandma. Like, you were an amazing grandma, and I really feel like the Lord is just wanting me to tell you that. So thank you for that. And she hugged me. She got a little emotional. She thanked me, and then she went on her way. Well, her husband came back by and was like, hey, you don't know what that means to us. We just lost our grandson, and you don't know what that means to us. And like, I was like, wow, God, like, you know exactly what to say. When I give you my yes, when I'm obedient, and I just say the awkward things, the weird things, the things that don't make any sense, like, even if I was to miss it, these people feel love coming out of me. And it was just such an amazing trip. There were so many more stories I could tell y'all, and I probably will do more stories when I can think about it, but those were the ones that were just highlighted to me. So, man, it was just incredible. So, and now what I've realized is I don't have to just wait for Mardi Gras to do that. I can do that at Walmart. I can do that every freaking day. So that's what the Lord's showing me, is like, I can start doing that. I can start just giving God my yes every day and looking for opportunities for me to sow love into people, and kindness and goodness and healing. So, man, God is awesome.